Hey everybody, it's Wanetah and Jason, and today we are talking about a very sore subject in the high level community. Today we are talking about A2P. Jason, I have no idea where to begin with this, so I'm just going to hand it off to you.
Yeah, A2P has been a sore thumb for a lot of people. It is something that I've been avoiding, to be perfectly honest, because it takes so much to put something together. But I feel like I have crafted what I think is one of the best snapshots to get your account fully set up. And so with that, I'm going to walk you guys through what I've done. You'll have a free download below to download this snapshot. And really, we've already gone through it once. It worked perfectly. So I'll talk to you about that process too. But let me share my screen and see.
So, I'm pretty sure at the top of this thing, we are going to start with what is A2P, Jason? What is
Yes.
A2P 10 DLC for 200?
Great question. So A2P stands for application to person. It just means that the phone number basically is tied to an entity or a person. And then 10DLC is 10-digit long code. So what is that phone number that is tied to that person? And in a nutshell, it says A2P 10DLC is a messaging compliance system that enables businesses to send application to person A2P messages via 10-digit long code phone numbers in the United States. All that basically just means it's a way for the carriers like AT&T, Verizon, et cetera, to combat the spam texts that we've been getting just out the wazoo. So I feel like lately I still get some, but it has gone down quite a bit. Do you think the same, Monita?
Yeah, I've noticed some coming back lately, but yeah, I think it is working. So that's a great relief for all of us. How does A2P, what is this like in layman's terms? If we're talking about all of this sounds really technical, but of course, high level works, your agency works only if you can show that you are working for your clients, right? And we do that through tracking. So you need a tracking number, and this is what it's all about. So before all of this, basically anybody could just go in there and send mass text to people, which a
Yeah,
lot of them were spam.
that was part of a problem that High Level was having, but this is a US wide thing that it has to be fixed. So it's not just related to only High Level, but anybody that allows their customers to send mass text messages out had to comply with this. And yes, people were just signing up for High Level or related services and just blasting out like 100,000 text messages and then moving on to a new company and doing the same thing. So that was part of the problem that is hopefully getting rectified.
Yeah. My favorites are, hey, it's been a long time. Want to get tea?
Right. Exactly. They're very vague. And those are the reason they do that is because all they're trying to do is get you to respond to them. And then now they know they have a live person that the phone number actually works. And there's no like spammy language in the initial text message. So they get a higher deliverability. Not teaching you on how to spam people, but that's why that has been working for people. So we are going to set something up that is in total compliance and get this thing approved because you can't send text messages out anymore, even to yourself, if you don't have this approved. So that is that. So I'm going to walk you through the snapshot that I built. I'll show you each of the pages, and then I'll show you why it works, and we'll actually set one up live on the call here. So in here, this is the funnel that I created. And basically, the main thing that we need to get approved for A2P is a form. And the form has to have certain language in the form and a little checkbox that the user is agreeing to allow you to text message them. So this is a big thing that was missing with a lot of people. You'll notice that some of this language is incomplete. I'll show you why in a moment. So learn more about working with blank. And then down here it says, by checking this box, I agree to receive SMS text messages and emails from, and there's nobody here. Some of these terms and conditions buttons, if I click on these, they're not going to work currently, but they will in short order. But the main thing that we need is a form, a checkbox, and a submit button that just shows that we're allowing somebody to agree to let us send them text messages.
Okay.
So we've accomplished this with step one. Now, step two is just a thank you page. We probably won't ever really use this. This form is mainly just to get approved for A2P, and then you don't necessarily have to use this form for all of your forms. So you
Well,
can
so
just,
what can you say more about that?
yeah.
So
So this is like hyper by the book exactly the way it should be. But if you have something where you just want to collect an email address later or something else, you don't want this big long disclaimer on all of yours, you can shorten it and still be in compliance, but not necessarily under the scrutiny of somebody looking at it in a under a microscope to see is every single word perfectly correct.
scrutiny.
Scrutiny. I always mess that word up.
That's so funny that you do that.
Yeah. All right. So this is just a simple congrats form, but these are other two big things. So we need a terms and conditions page and a privacy policy. And then I'll show you the secret little page that's going to save you a bunch of time in a minute too. So let me get this loaded. So, big thing about these terms and conditions and the privacy policy is this is not legal advice. I have no guarantees or warranties that this is like perfect legal jargon. I created this with ChatGPT and just took a few other terms and conditions pages that I found elsewhere. So, this is just to get through this approval process with A2P. But if you want to be totally in compliance, make sure you get an attorney or somebody else to do a proper one for you. So disclaimers out of the way there. So you'll notice a lot of things on here. Same thing. We have missing blanks owned by blank. Now this, I'm going to save you a bunch of time. You're not going to have to go in and manually fill all these things in, but I'm just showing you that currently in its current form, it doesn't have any company information or contact information or anything. All right. So we did the terms and conditions page. Now the privacy policy, I'll show you that as well. And again, no legal verification of this. I have no idea if this is how they're supposed to be, but this is just a universal one anybody can use. Okay, so here's the privacy policy. And again, it's missing some information like company name and things like that. All that will be filled in, but that's basically this form. How this works is at the bottom of that initial form that I showed you, there's a little checkbox where it said the disclaimer, but it also had links to privacy policy and terms and conditions. And I was denied my first few times submitting my A2P process. And what I didn't realize is those links went to dead pages. So that was why I was getting denied. So I'll show you those again real quick to clarify. So down here, these terms and conditions and privacy policy, either a live person that's verifying your A2P or some kind of bot is clicking on these, I'm assuming, and if they don't go to actual pages about your company, then you're likely to get your application denied for the A2P. And then the final page, I have set up do not share. If we tap on this, when I open this up, there's an entire application process you have to go in with text you have to fill in. So all of this is going to be filled in with your company name and all of that in just a moment. I'm going to show you where to do that. But you just go through step by step. You copy this information. It'll have your company name, your phone number, all that stuff in here. And it'll just save you a bunch of time of having to manually type all that. So we'll walk through step by step this entire process in just a moment. So I just wanted to show you the roadmap of what it is behind the scenes. It'll make a lot more sense in just a moment, but there'll be a link down below. You guys can download this entire snapshot once you see me implement it and watch this video step by step. We've already got one approved using this. It took about 2 days from the time that we submitted it. So it's working great. Some people are saying they're getting approved in just a few hours. So I think times are varying a little bit, but at least I didn't get denied, which is what was happening before. So I was avoiding this, like I said, because it's a big pain in the butt for me, especially if you're doing this for multiple clients. So hopefully this snapshot will save you a ton of time and you don't have to worry about manually doing this over and over again. So
So just to be clear, this is you've just showed us everything that this snapshot entails, right? And so now you're going to take us through, and all people have to do is download this snapshot that you are giving away and then follow step by step what you're about to do,
mhm,
and
yep.
they will be done. Do they have to do this for every single client?
Yes. So every
Okay.
single client needs this snapshot installed on their account, and they'll also have to go through the approval process. So they'll have to get approved for the numbers that they have on their account.
Okay. So this snapshot, when it comes in, it's just a blank template in a way. And they just keep it in their high level account. And then for every client, they just go and pull the blank one and they do this step by step process for each one. And
Yep.
everybody has their own individual one.
Yeah. So I'm going to actually walk you through installing the snapshot on an account and all of that stuff.
Okay.
One thing I do want you to notice here, and we're going to get deeper into it in a moment, but some of those fields that need to be filled in, they're going to be under settings and then custom values. We're going to have a folder. There's going to be under folders, there's going to be something called A2P. Yours may have a lot more, but I tried to put it all into a folder here. And this is the custom values that run all of the blanks throughout the snapshot so that it makes life a lot easier. So literally all you do is you go in, I'm going to walk you through all of this, but you're going to go in and change these values. So company name, you'll replace with the company name, the country, your name or your client's name, the state, and then the links, which I'll show you how to set up. All of that will be set up, and then that data will be populated throughout the entire funnel, so you don't have to manually do that at each page and each step of that page. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Perfect. Cool. So let's get into actually installing this. So if you followed our build process for our rank and rent site that we've been working on, the Katie Concrete site, we are now at a phase where we've purchased a number, but we need to get this approved so that we could send text messages if we wanted to. So I thought it was a perfect opportunity to do that and demonstrate to you guys how to get A2P approved as well. So the first thing we need to do is install this snapshot. So I'm going to go, let's see, let me get to my Google Doc here.
Step 1, download the snapshot. Step 2, what did you just
Actually,
say?
well, step one, we're actually going to purchase the phone number. I'm going to show you where to go and do that, just so we have it all here. I'm also going to show you how to fill in the company settings, and then we'll install the snapshot. I
Right
forgot
on.
forgot about that part.
First, you need a number. Get
Yep.
in line, people.
Take a number.
Right?
All right. So if you're in the actual sub account that you want to set this A2P process up, if you have a phone number, you can skip this step. If you don't have a number, you're going to go to settings and then phone numbers. And then once you're here, we already have one purchased, but the process is the same. I'll walk you through everything up until purchasing it. You're just going to select add number and then add phone number. And then I like to you filter, if you're in the United States, you'd be doing this process. If you're in another country, you can select that from the drop down. You can either do a toll-free number, which tends to get approved faster, but a lot of companies don't want to text from a toll-free number just because it looks like a company versus a local number. If they are a local business, tends to get higher response rates. But the toll-free numbers are getting approved faster and easier, at least currently. So choose your path if you want to. But we're
Why
just
is
going to.
that? What do you
I
think
don't
that is?
I don't quite know. I think just because maybe a toll-free number is more tied to a company than a local number,
Okay.
but I don't know if that's the full answer. But all we'll do here is unselect toll-free for the local one, and then you just pick the area code that you want and then match to the first part of the number. So the area code is going to be the first three numbers of that. Click apply. And then it's going to give you a list of usually 5 to 10 numbers here. If you don't like any of them, you can just refresh the results. And then ultimately, we're not going to actually purchase this, but say we wanted to pick this one, we would hit proceed to buy. Oh, maybe I just accidentally bought it. It's only a dollar
Yeah.
15, but
Well, I don't want the Alvin, Texas one.
no, we'll get rid of that. But that's just know if you hit that, I thought it was going to take me to another screen, but um,
Anybody want to buy an Alvin, Texas number for $3?
just delete it real quick.
We could flip numbers. We'll show you A2P.
So that's the process. So you actually saw the whole process of buying a number. Very, very easy to do. Almost too easy because
Yep.
I thought it was going to take you to another screen.
Apparently.
Awesome. So here we are. Now we have the number. So I'll go back to my sheet here. Step number 2 is complete and fill out the company profile. So that is going to be under the same on settings, company or business profile here.
Okay. Not to be confused with Google business profile.
Exactly. Okay, so here we are on the business profile settings, and you do need to completely fill this out with either your information if you're doing kind of the rank and rent site. If you have an LLC that kind of encompasses all of your rank and rent sites, then you can put it here. If you're a sole proprietor, like you don't have an EIN or anything, then you can put just your name in there. Or if this is something you're doing for a client, then they should have all that stuff. And the same thing applies if they don't, for whatever reason, then you just put their personal information. But you do need this to be accurate, and The ideally the address should be the same that's registered with the IRS for their EIN. So I'm going to fill in all of this stuff off camera, and then we'll come back and go through the submission process.
And if someone says, "Hey, I don't have an EIN," then you're just saying, like, the same address that they use for their taxes, right?
Exactly.
O
Yeah. All right. So we completed our business profile, and now we're going to actually pull in the snapshot to that account. So there'll be a link. If you go down below, you can download the snapshot. This will be in your dashboard of snapshots, which I'll show you. And then you can pull this into the actual site that you're trying to add this to. So here we just go and find the actual account that we want to add the snapshot to. So we're just going to look for concrete here. And then we hit this little button here and manage client. And then when we're on this page, we're going to hit this little actions button and click load snapshot. And then here we're going to find the A2P one that I created.
Is it up there?
Yep. So you can open up any of these plus buttons and see what all it's trying to load into your account. You can see the custom values here are those A2P values that I gave you. We have the form, which is that A2P form. And then we also have the funnels and websites, which I gave you, which was that A2P funnel. And then the review settings here. So if we hit proceed, it'll tell you if there's anything conflicting, meaning it's about to overwrite something that you already have named the same thing. So if it says there are a few conflicts, typically all you'll see as the conflict is this miscalled text back for whatever reason. So you can either overwrite it or skip it. If you already have somebody using miscalled text back and they've changed what the little section says, then you don't want to overwrite that. So you could just hit skip.
Like when you have a photo and you're bringing it into, like, a Google Drive or something, and it says, "You already have this photo in here. Would you like to replace it, stop, or keep both?" Kind of
Exactly.
thing? That's
Yep.
all that was. Okay.
Mhm. So now we've installed the snapshot, and there we're going to switch to the sub account and actually do the process and use that snapshot in there. And usually the loading time for the time I submit it to the time it's in my account is like a few seconds, even though it says it can take longer, it's typically done instantly. Okay.
Smart customer service move.
Yeah. So now I'm in the account and we're going to go through this process of setting it up. Now I've already added all of our company information. So I'll go back to my Google Doc and see what I need to do next. I installed the snapshot. I need to add a domain to my A2P funnel. The reason I'm doing this first is because I'm going to use those figures that are the links to the form and the privacy policy and the terms and conditions. I'm going to use those in my custom values. So I go to sites, and then I'm going to open up this funnel. Okay. And now that this is loaded, all I have to do is attach a domain to this. So I'm going to go to settings, and this is for the overall funnel here. And I'm going to select a domain. Now, I already have some in here, Katie Concrete Service and Katie www.katieconcreteservice. I can either do it off of that, or if you want to set up like a subdomain, which is like go dot your URL, so go.katieconcreteservices.com, I can do that. So let me just walk you through
And
that
why would
process.
you want to do that?
Just if you don't want this like publicly on your site that's accessible, you just want this particular funnel to be something that you're using for approval, and then you may get rid of it in the future or something. You can get rid of it without having it on your main domain. Does that make sense?
Yes, it just leads me to, like, why would they wanna do that then? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
just a bunch of whys.
yeah, it's just because if you're like trying to get this site ranked on Google and you have all these different pages submitted, then you might not want your A2P form and all that stuff like discoverable on Google later on. You might want to just do this for this purpose and then get rid of this um, subdomain later. I'm just going to add a subdomain just so you can see how it works. So we'll click add. Then I'll just do go.service.com. Hit continue. What's great about this is it used to be really hard to set these things up. Like we had to go in and manually add all these records and everything. But now,
Mhm.
once you have one domain set up, especially now that it's seeing I'm on GoDaddy, it will authorize that domain and then I can use it pretty quickly. Okay. So here we are on the actual form. I've connected go.katieconcreteservice.com, and that is going to work for this funnel. And this funnel is just for this particular process to get approved for A2P. Beyond that, you don't need this exact contact form. You can have any other form that you want. This is mainly just a funnel to get approved for A2P with exactly the steps that they're wanting to make it really easy for them to say, okay, you are in compliance with exactly how we want forms to look. You have a privacy policy, you have a terms and conditions, and a success step, and all that stuff on there. Okay. So we are going to open up another tab here. So we have two tabs now. We have our tab that has the custom values, which is under settings, custom values. You can see I don't have any values over here yet. That's what I need to go in and fill in. And then I have another tab which has the link to my funnel, which is all of the pages that I just set up. So I need to go in here, and for company name, I'm going to edit the custom value. This is Katie Concrete Service. And then the form link is this first page here. So I'm going to copy this URL. And then privacy policy. And I know this can seem like a little boring part here, but it's basically you're saving 20 minutes of time by not having to go in and manually place these links, because I have these custom values peppered in throughout the form, throughout the privacy policy, all different spots, so that once you fill in this, you don't have to do anything else on any of the other pages. So here's the terms and conditions page. All right, here, the final step we need to do is just the um, country, which is where you are residing. Usually it's USA for this because you only need to do A2P approval for USA. And as we get to the next one, it'll just be your name, or it'll be the business owner's name, and then the state that their business is in for this phone number. So just do base in here, and then finally the state, and we'll be done. Okay, here we'll edit the state of Texas. And I'll show you where all of these have updated on the form, at least, and maybe one of the pages, just so you can see how all of this works in tandem. So now all of this is updated. We have fields for all of these. I'll go back to our funnel here. If I go back to our top form, and if I open this up, you can see now on this form, when I open it, it says learn more about working with Katie Concrete Service. So it pre-filled this information in. It also down here, if I hover over, if you see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'll just click on one. If you click on either of these terms of service or privacy policy here, it will open up into the correct page. I think it's going to take a little minute for these pages to go active. So it's not quite ready, but it looks like this one opened. So it's starting to get secure here. But Katie Concrete Service terms and conditions, and you can see now throughout this, Katie Concrete Service is listed in here. So we saved you a bunch of time by not having to go and manually edit all these things, which is cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, the piece de resistance, is that how they say it?
I have no idea.
Is down here on this do not share. If I open this up, this will give me the form that has all of the information filled in. And oh, I see. This I need to fix. So it looks like I have a period at the end of this, which is throwing it off probably. But the rest, Jason from Katie Concrete Service. This is Jason from Katie Concrete Service. Here's the link to the page to sign up. So all of this is filled in. So when we're going through that initial process of submitting this A2P, you can just go through and copy and paste each of these. All right. Any questions on that part?
Nope.
Awesome. So let's get into the phone number side, and we're going to walk through the A2P submission process here. So we go under settings, phone numbers, and this is the final step in this process. We go to Trust Center, and then down at the bottom, it'll show unverified right now. Down at the bottom, we hit Start Registering Now. Is this business entity you're registering in the United States? Yes. Yes, the business I'm registering has a tax ID, or you can click No if you don't have one. So for this one, let's click No. And then I'm going to be quiet to see if it shows any personal details. Okay. So this one I put no EIN. I just had to go through step by step. It pre-filled in all of the data that I put on the original company business profile. It just had some of our company information that I didn't want to share publicly. But you can see now it's trying to register me as a sole prop because I put that we didn't have an EIN for this particular business. So one thing you'll notice is this is a $20 submission fee. So that's why it's important to do all these steps and get it correct, because every time that it gets denied, you have to do another application if you want to get this approved. So I feel confident now that I've done this successfully with this snapshot that this is going to work. So we'll hit continue, and then I'll do Katie Concrete Service Industry.
Construction.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't see that one. And then lastly, I need the phone number. Let's see.
I
Remember,
know
I've already.
the end is 888. That's all I know.
Okay.
832 something 8.
So this looks like we're going to have to put a cell phone number in because it says you can't use the number that you obtained from Lead Connector. So they're going to have to send a text message for like a verification or something for sole proprietor brands.
They're
So I'm
trying to
gonna.
get your digits.
That's right. They're getting your digits. So I'm gonna put my cell phone in. So we'll cut that part out. But you can put your whatever number you can receive text messages on. Okay. Now we're in the spot where we need to go and get that data on that easy form. So is it this page? Yeah. So here we can go through. I'm going to have to fix this custom value part. So by the time you guys download this will be corrected, but you just copy and paste this whole part here for step one.
When we register this as a partnership or however somebody's going to register their business, do you have
Mhm.
to change this stuff?
That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know if you have to go back and change it. I haven't heard of anybody asking that. That's a great question, though. So I'm just adding Katie Concrete because my little custom value thing didn't work on that particular one. And then the rest should all work. So let's see what this is. So what's important on these is you have to have, which is silly, but you have to have a person's name like Mary, John, Diane, Sarah, whatever you want to put there. And then you put your name from your company. So those are the most important factors on this part of the form.
And what is that doing exactly?
It's just
That
showing them
form.
an example message of what would be sent out to a client.
Okay.
So sample message one, you can see examples here and you can copy and paste those, but then you have to manually go in and add your name and add the company name and stuff. So this thing I created saves you a little time there. And then sample message number two, same thing. Hey, Susan, it's Jason from Katie Concrete Service. I see you weren't able to make our appointment. Would you like to reschedule? Other big things that are important are make sure you have reply stop to unsubscribe on these so they know that you're giving people an opt out message.
And people aren't limited to these sample messages
No, I would just say
in the
for
real world,
in the real
just for
world, no.
this
Yeah.
purpose. Okay.
Yeah. So I leave these two checked. So the messages will include phone numbers, messages will include embedded links. Hit continue. Then we're almost done. How do leads consent to receive messages? So we'll go back up to our form here and copy this one. And I have the headlines of each of these. So how do users receive messages is the same as this right here. So you'll know you're putting it in the right box. Okay. This already has stuff in it, opt-in keywords, start and subscribe. So you can leave those there. And then final thing is the opt-in message. Copy that, paste it, and as soon as we fill it in, there'll be a little submit button here. And we just hit submit. It sometimes you'll see a little notice that says like failed and things, but
Mhm.
I found that doesn't mean anything. Basically,
Well,
all it's
thank God.
that'd be a quick fail, right? But basically, what it's saying is it's checking to see if both of these are approved instantly, which is silly because it just submitted it. But brand gets approved usually within like an hour or two. And then the campaign, which I don't know quite what the difference is. I think brand is just like your business entity is approved. And then campaign, I'm guessing, means now you're approved to send these types of messages.
Mhm.
I found that this is taking like 24 to 48 hours for me lately, but brand is, I got approved like within an hour.
So follow along, and you too can be an overnight success.
That's right. Cool. So I know it seems like a lot of steps, but overall, if you're doing this manually, it took me the first time I submitted this, it took me probably half the day to figure out like, okay, where do I put the form and all that stuff. So this snapshot should cut a lot of time out. We're basically replacing a lot of the manual work with just being able to copy and paste things and fill it in. Most important thing is making sure you have all the company details ready to go before you start to sit down and do this. So you don't have to stop and go find that information. And then just fill out the custom values and you should be good to go.
So basically, what he's saying is we should all be very grateful for all of Jason's hard work so that all we have to do is fill in the blanks and just repeat the process every time, right? So
Yes.
thank you very much, Jason. This was really helpful. Nobody wants to go through this, not even this. So
I
download it and get to it and be sure to share some love for Jason's work and thoughtfulness. This is really cool that you did this for people.
Yeah, thank you. And I hate doing this still, even with this shortcut method, but it's just something that we have to do. And once you have it approved, it's really not that big of a deal. Then you can send text messages. And honestly, if it's that big of a pain, then other people likely will be less inclined to do it, which gives you even more of an advantage. So hopefully, this makes it as easy as possible, and you can have your clients and yourself up and ready to go to start sending text messages within a day or two.
And if you want to do this and you get really good at just repeating the process, I'm sure the more you do it, the easier it is. And Jason's just coming off of the emotional hangover from all of the attempts and really putting this thing together. But you could make this a little side hustle business as well, doing this for agencies because nobody, as you see, nobody's going to want to do this. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's just part of the process now, but you're right. There's still a lot of people that haven't done it. Just word of wisdom, if you're desperate, like you got to get something approved ASAP, then you might opt to try at least first the toll-free number because that I found is sometimes getting approved like the same day, sometimes within a few hours. At least that gives you something to get text messages going out while you're waiting for the local number to get approved. But I don't know how long that little hack will last either. I think at some point they're going to require everything to go through the same process, but who knows? When it first started, this was taking like weeks, if not months, to get approved. So now, for it being down to a day or two, I'm fine with that.
great job.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Link will be down below to download this. And other than that, we'll talk to you again on the next video.
Wait, before we
Oh,
go, can we
yeah.
show people who are interested in running their agency off of High Level? How would they do that, Jason?
Running their agency off of high level,
Or
they
if
would go.
anyone wants to use High Level?
Yeah, great question. We will go to
uh,
ghlfree.com. Here's a little banner here. I'll pull up a
we have
page.
worn him out.
Yes. I will pull up the page here just so you can see, because a lot of people are asking about the free trials and how all that stuff works. So I'll share that with you guys here. So here is the landing page. It will look a little different. I've reached out to the high level team to get both Wanetah and my smiling face on here. So we'll have
Oh, look at that.
a new little landing page here, but same great deal is still available. If you go to ghlfree.com, you'll get a free 30-day trial. If you go anywhere else on the high level site, you only get 14 days. It is to the highest tier that they have, so the SaaS Pro plan, but basically gives you access to everything that high level offers. But little secret, you can start out at that 30-day trial and then downgrade to the 297 or the $97 plan, but still keep a full 30 days of your trial. Versus if you go anywhere else to try to get those lower tiers, you're going to only get 14 days. So that's why we do this. And a lot of people end up just staying on the max plan because they want to get clients, they want to be able to charge for it as a software and all those different things that come with being a pro SaaS member plan. It's a great deal. We love the software. We created a whole channel around this software. So highly recommend you giving it a shot, even if you're not sure. You've been watching a lot of videos and you're like, okay, I think I understand it. The only way to really know is to get a trial, try it out, start working with it. We have so many videos on what to sell, how to sell it, how to start small, how to go out there and get some clients very quickly. So go watch some of those and just start taking some action on reaching out to people. And I promise you, if you've used any kind of software like this before, like a ClickFunnels or something similar, this just, in my opinion, blows any of those away. So I love
All right,
it.
guys. Well, thank you so much for watching and again for subscribing and for commenting. We really are just listening to your comments and to what you want and need and doing our best to deliver just that. So, thanks again.
Yeah. See you later.